Once upon a time, in the quaint town of Hilton, Maine, on a cold June day in 1972, a child was born. Not just any child, mind you, but Samantha Smith, the future pin-sized diplomat. Samantha was the epitome of childhood curiosity. You know the type? The relentless question machine. Why is the sky blue? Why does broccoli exist? And more importantly, why does anyone actually eat it? But Samantha's curiosity had a unique twist. It was fixated on geopolitics. Yes, while most kids her age were losing themselves in the magical land of cartoons, Samantha was busy flipping through the Times magazine, pondering the fate of the world, which by then was about to enter its fourth decade of the Cold War. The Cold War, a delightful period when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear annihilation. It was like living in a perpetual state of who's going to blink first, except blinking would mean the end of civilization. Amidst this tension, Samantha decided to step up, because if world leaders couldn't figure it out, well, surely a 10-year-old could, well, at the very least try, right? In 1982, when Yuri Andropov succeeded Leonid Brezhnev as leader of the Soviet Union, the mainstream Western newspapers and magazines were filled with doom-laden predictions. Andropov, who had a resume that read like the villain in a Cold War spy novel, Soviet ambassador to Hungary during the 1956 Hungarian Revolution, KGB chairman who presided over the Prague Spring and the invasion of Afghanistan, was painted as the new boogeyman. Andropov began his tenure by flexing the KGB's muscles and suppressing dissidents, possibly seeing the struggle for human rights as an imperialist plot against the Soviet state. In this atmosphere of heightened tension and mutual paranoia, with both superpowers flirting with the idea of weaponizing space and anti-nuclear protests sweeping across Europe and North Africa, Samantha stumbled upon November 22nd, 1982 issue of the Time magazine. It featured Andropov on the cover, surrounded by ominous headlines. Samantha, ever the inquisitive mind, even asked her mother, if people are so afraid of him, why doesn't someone write a letter asking whether he wants to have war or not? To which her mother, probably thinking she was indulging in a child's fantasy, replied, well, why don't you? And so, Samantha did the unthinkable. She actually wrote a letter to Yuri Andropov, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, asking him straight up, why do you want to conquer the world, or at least our country? Because nothing says, please explain your geopolitical strategy, like a letter from a 5th grader. Andropov, probably amused and slightly baffled, responded, yes, the leader of the Soviet Union took a break from not conquering the world to write back to a young girl from Maine. He invited her to visit the Soviet Union to see for herself that they did not want war. It was a move so diplomatic that left seasoned politicians shaking their heads in wonder. In July 1983, Samantha and her family visited the Soviet Union. The media went wild. She met with children, toured the sites, and even visited Andropov's summer residence. Andropov, however, was too ill to meet her in person, but they did manage to have a conversation over the phone. Upon returning home, Samantha was an international celebrity. She appeared on TV shows, gave interviews, and even published a book about her experiences. She became an internationally recognized symbol of hope and a reminder that even the smallest voices can have the biggest impact. And of course, she did it all without the help of social media influencers. Samantha's impact didn't stop there. She became a sought-after guest on various television programs, including The Tonight Show and The Phil Donahue Show. Her charm and articulate nature won over audiences, further amplifying her message of peace and understanding. Her book, Journey to the Soviet Union, offered a detailed account of her experiences, and it became a bestseller, reinforcing her status as a young ambassador of goodwill. In recognition of her efforts, Samantha received numerous awards and honors. She was invited to speak at international peace conferences and was honored by various organizations dedicated to promoting peace and human rights. Her story inspired countless individuals around the world, demonstrating the profound impact one person, regardless of age, can have on global affairs. Sadly, Samantha's story took a tragic turn. Just around a year after her new Soviet friend Andropov died of kidney failure in 1985, at the age of 13, she died in a plane crash, along with her father. The crash of Bar Harbor Airlines Flight 1808 was a devastating blow, a heartbreaking end to a life that had already achieved so much, breaking through the icy barriers of the Cold War with nothing more than a letter and a genuine desire for peace. Despite her untimely death, Samantha Smith's legacy endures. Schools, scholarships, and even an asteroid have been named in her honor. Her mother established the Samantha Smith Foundation to continue work in promoting peace and understanding among young people. What were you doing when you were 13?